Liverpool FC is hard as hell. United, Tottenham, Arsenal. Watch my list, and I will spell. Cause they don't just play, but they can rap as well. Liverpool FC.
Yeah, my idea was to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility, you know, like... Napoleon had that idea, he would conquer the bloody world.
That was pretty good, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Evening, gents. How are we?
Good.
Seems like a long time since we've been here doing this, doesn't it, really? You know, to be fair. Obviously, with last week's events. Good place to start before we go into the team, which is running along the bottom, so there'll be no surprises for anybody when we get to that. I've spoken to you, Ian, about it, so I hope you don't mind. Dave, just a quick thought on last weekend's events at Old Trafford. Dave?
Sorry, on what, mate? Sorry.
Old Trafford last week?
Oh, yeah. Where do you want me to start with that, mate?
Well, your thoughts, good, bad, indifference, or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've said to you guys, haven't I, that, and I know this is probably not a view shared with many people, and certainly not supporters, fans of the 6 Premier League clubs involved in the European Super League failed attempt. But I'm kind of like, as you're both aware, I'm a little bit forgive and forget. So let's move on. I mean, I think United have got a few bigger problems. Their problems are a lot different to certainly Liverpool's in the regard that their thing's been going on for a lot longer. That I don't think they've ever wanted the Glaziers in charge, and I'm not sure. Certainly early on it was successful while Ferguson was still about, but it hasn't been successful really for the last, in terms of winning Premier League titles and Champions League titles. So, and that's what their fans want, isn't it, ultimately? So, they're saddled with a whole load of debt, which, so they've got a problem. I think there's all sorts of things floating around about the security and were they still the security still working from home and all those kind of things. So, I mean, it's a complete and utter shambles, and actually we're paying the price a little bit for that now as well, aren't we? In terms of having to play a game. I know they've got to do it as well, but we're having to play a game at a time that's not really that suitable through no doing of our own. So, the whole thing is it's been a mess from start to finish. The whole European Super League thing, and I'm not saying. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back for United, and it would have been interesting. I think if fans had been allowed in the ground, if you were allowed crowds, if you were allowed spectators, would you have got such a protest? I'm not sure you would. I think there's probably quite a few hangers on there that have jumped on the bandwagon and troublemakers. So
I think
every club gets that.
I think the 10-year-old lad that was pictured falling off the top of the goalpost wouldn't even know who looks after Manchester United in the back room, mate. Anyway, so Jürgen, I know Jürgen Klopp tunes into these before the game. So Jürgen, just for future reference, if we have to play 2 games in 2 continents in 2 days, pitch invasion, we'll sort it out, mate. They'll just reschedule it for weeks in advance. So you know what to do. You know what to do next time. Jump on the pitch. So on to the team, boys. I'll start with you, Ian. We just spoke about the defence, so I'm not going to ask you about the defence. I'm going to get Dave to do that. No Bobby. Bobby's on the bench, and Jota comes in for him. Thoughts on that?
I think it's common sense to do that right now. Bobby's not been performing this season. I think rather than be surprised when Jota starts ahead of Firmino, I've been more surprised when Bobby has been starting ahead of Jota this season. I don't know what's up with Bobby. I don't know whether it's a confidence thing. I don't know whether it's something that his body has not recovered from. He's just not the same guy. And you can talk about his body and that, but his brain doesn't seem to be working the same way as it was 18 months ago. There just doesn't seem to be. Just something doesn't seem right. It could be the players not making the same runs, Because let's be honest, this is a very different Liverpool team that he's playing in that we was playing in 12 months ago. So I don't think all the blame can go to Bobby. I think the team's playing very differently. I mean, when Jota, the last game we seen Jota playing, he was making runs and he wasn't receiving the ball. So did we all of a sudden start jumping on Jota's back? I don't think we do. I mean, I know his performances have been nowhere near as poor. It's been as long as what Bobby's of, but we've just got to be careful. I know you're not telling me not to. You don't want me to talk about the defence, but I think with that front three, we need 5 goals today because with that back four, I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, unfortunately.
Might have stole your thunder there, Dave. Into the back four, Reece Williams comes in for Kabak, who, you know, we know from social media he's carrying a few niggles. Also know from social media there's a possibility that the club may not take the opportunity to sign him after all. So thoughts on the back four, Dave? First of all, the selection and then the Kabak situation, please, mate.
Well, I'm not sure what else we could have done really, apart from Fabinho play at the back, and us, certainly the three of us. Unless anything's changed since the last time we met, or the last time we discussed it, I don't think any of us three would have Fabinho anywhere else apart from in midfield. So, yeah, I'm not sure what else he could have done really. With Kabak being out, obviously, Gomez and Van Dijk obviously still coming back from injury, and Matip falling off the face of a cliff. So yeah, I don't know what else we could do with that. In terms of the Kabak situation and signing him, I don't think he's done too much wrong. I think he's done all right actually. Probably he's. I think to start with, the first couple of games he might have struggled a little bit, but I think he's improved, and I think he's looked quite assured. There's a lot of talk about Konate, isn't it? That one's not going away. I know of Konate, but I don't know whether he's any better than Kabak. Yeah, no idea. I guess that we're going to see Van Dijk and Gomez back from pre-season and for the start of next season. So Nat Phillips' contract is up. So what happens with him? You know, he's done pretty well all season when he's done everything that's been asked of him. So, Kabak, do we sign him? I mean, you know, we're probably talking about 9 or 10 million quid, something like that, Steve.
That seems to be the number.
20-year-old. You know, yeah, it seems like a good move, but. Is he going to play that much? I don't know. And do they want Konate more? Konate quicker? I don't think Kabak's not particularly quick, is he? So
Konate is. Konate is very quick. Very quick, Konate, mate. Very.
Yeah. So, and that's what they want. That's been a problem for us all season, isn't it? Particularly since those two guys have been out injured. So, yeah.
I love to do this to you, Dave, but Nat Phillips signed an extension, so it's actually next summer his contract's up. But we've spoken about Nat Phillips going to somewhere like Burnley for, you know, if you sell Nat Phillips to Burnley for 15 million and you buy Kabak for 10 million, leads me to my next question: which one would you have, Ian, Phillips or Kabak? You had to have one.
Kabak. Don't get me wrong, I like Phillips. I really do like Phillips, but I think Phillips' age. I think Kabak seems more of a culture player. If you look at Phillips is like 24 now. He's not. He should be really moved on a little bit. I'll tell you what though, if we're not signing Kabak and Kabak's not moving in the summer, the club that has Kabak, is it Schalke?
Yeah.
I'd consider signing Phillips or partnering him up with.
But they don't want.
Been a really good partnership.
They don't want him back, mate. There was an instance to do spitting or something, and they were more than happy for him to go out on loan. Look, you don't get a player of that potential for 2 million quid unless there's fundamentally something wrong in the relationship with the club. That's a get him out of there. Let Liverpool pay 70% or whatever of his wages. We don't have to worry about it until the end of the season. And fingers crossed, he plays well enough for Liverpool to come back and do a deal. The thoughts there. I'm not an ex-Fen merchant because I look into to transfers a bit more than just the initial numbers that you see on social media and in the news. But to sell Phillips for 15 and bought Kabak for 9, the net spend merchants will be telling us there's £6 million figure between the two. Sounds like quite good business. I think Kabak will be okay. Is he better than Matip? No. Is he better than Gomez? No. And obviously he's certainly not better than Van Dijk. So if he comes into the club and Matip's fit, and there was pictures of him training this week, albeit lightly, he's potentially fourth choice centre back, and for £9 million, you don't get a lot for your money these days for £9 million, do you? So back to the team. Sadly, the Genie haters are out in force again this weekend, and he's been selected today. I don't suppose either of you could see a way where we would take him out of the team just because it looks like he's leaving. Any of you going to make an argument to say he shouldn't play?
You know me, I love Genie. I'm a massive Genie fan. I think he's been probably our best player behind Salah this season, most consistent. But I think with what his agents come out yesterday and said, and I think the position we're in, I think it's time to plan for next season now and I'd take him out. And it's hard for me to say that because I do love Genie. But I think we need to hit the floor running, they hit the ground running next season. So it might be worth now trying to sort that midfield out and what it'll look like without Genie in next season.
So would you have played Curtis Jones today instead of Genie then?
Yeah, I would.
What do you make of that, Dave? That revelation for me, and then who's gone full circle from being Genie's staunchest fan to sitting in the stands and letting him watch. What do you think about that?
I think Ian's lost his head, hasn't he? No, mate, joke. No, I totally understand why people would say that. I don't understand why he would say that. The Genie hating on social media is laughable. Laughable. I can't believe it. There's one certain individual I see crops up on there all the time, and yeah, I quickly unfollowed him because I can't be doing my stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't. I look at it slightly differently to Ian. Having said that, I agree with what Ian's saying. I understand why Ian's saying it. I look at it, and if you want to try and pick your best team, Genie Wijnaldum's in it, and it's as simple as straightforward as that for me.
I agree. Evening, Chris Welch. Just subbed up. I put a comment on the screen there. I wholeheartedly agree, Chris. When players are playing for us, whether it's Ronaldo or Reece Williams, you get behind your teammate. 100% agree with that. I'm sure the boys do too.
Yeah.
So what are we expecting 100%. Today? Dave, what are we expecting for Southampton today? No Danny Ings, no Ryan Bertrand. Obviously, they've got the free kick master in Ward-Prowse, so we don't want to be giving any stupid free kicks away around the box. What are you expecting from them today? Because for me, mate, they've been poor the last few weeks, mate. So I'd like to see a bit more of that today. What are your thoughts?
That me?
Dave?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I think we should get at them from the off. I mean, but I feel like I'm a bit of a broken record, or we're a bit of a broken record by saying that, because I think we've said that pretty much for the last 2 or 3 months. So yeah, Chris is right. I think they're there for the taking. I think all the time they had the FA Cup in their sights as well. There was obviously some interest there, and Danny Ings not playing. I mean, I think it's a big blow for them, and it should be a fillip for us. It should lift us. You know, I really like Ings. Always really liked him. He's unlucky at our place with injuries. Otherwise, I think he'd still be there, and I think Klopp would be using him. Yeah, we have to get at them. We have to get at them, and from the word go, and take some of these chances that we get in games and put games to bed, because we certainly haven't done that the last 2 games, have we?
100% agree. Ian, what are we going to do? Where do we win the game today? What areas do Liverpool win this match in?
We just need to get players in the box, Steve. I think an early goal is important today. And I think that's one of the things that's crippled us this season, the fact that we've lost early goals. I think because if we don't get a goal after the first 20, 25 minutes, we try and force it too much. And all we do is whip crosses into people who aren't there. And if we do that today, Vestergaard will just eat them up. He'll just head everything away. So it'll be pointless doing it. I think an early goal was settle our nerves, and I think we need something Liverpool weren't last season was predictable. We're very predictable now. We literally just Fabinho, another midfielder, and then to the wing, and then we throw a ball in the box. That we never did that last season. Don't get me wrong, we did and got goals from it, but we did other things as well. We played one or two touch football around the box. We bamboozled defences. At the moment, Liverpool must be one of the easiest, most predictable attacks to play against right now, because you just know it's either Robbo or Trent robbing the ball in the box, and if we don't get it, their defender heads it away, or as a few times the ball goes over the bar, it doesn't even make it into the box. So we need to be a bit more creative on what we're doing, and when we get chances, we need to take them.
I would agree. I'd also just pick you up on something you said there. We're very predictable. We were very predictable last season as well. Our game plan and what we do has never changed. Just teams we're not able to stop it. That was the difference. And this year we're not so clinical. That final ball in isn't so great. But everyone knew what we were going to do. It just couldn't stop us from doing it. So I think I do take your point to some degree. The driving balls into defenders' legs from the fullbacks has been a problem for a good 3 months now. So hopefully something changes today. Just coming away from the game, because I think we've covered that. We've been through the team. We've been through what we expect. Either of you two seen Harvey Elliott's goal today? Have you seen his goal today for Blackburn?
No.
Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Messi-esque, Dave runs through the keeper and with no backlift pops it up in the air over his head. I run a poll on Twitter earlier. Do we see Harvey Elliott back amongst the first team squad, or do we send him out on a Premier League loan like to somewhere like Brighton? What are your thoughts? Either of you pick that one up for me.
I'm a bit split. Stay myself. I'd love to see him at Liverpool. I'd love to see him playing that role that Shaqiri comes on. Maybe come on as an impact sub or what have you. But then I think, is he going to develop better somewhere like Brighton? I think Fulham were absolutely off their heads not to take the option to take him out on loan this season. I think he really would have helped them this season when he was offered to them. But I'd love to see him in our squad. I'd love to see him move in our squad, because we could have done with Harvey Elliott this season. The Harvey Elliott's been playing for Blackburn. We could have done with him this season. But if we're keeping him and only playing him for 15-10 minutes a game, and sometimes, probably a lot of time, not even getting on the pitch, and we stuck in his progression, so I'm split. I'd love to see him at Liverpool, but I don't want to see his progression stop, because he's on an upward curve at the moment, and I don't want him to flatten out too early.
Dave, thanks, Ian. Some good points there, Dave. Phil Foden is in a similar position when he broke into the Manchester City side as Harvey Elliott would be at Liverpool, where he gets drip-fed 15 minutes here and then. I seem to recall Guardiola was really clever at putting Foden into games when Manchester City were over the hill and gone and the teams were demoralised, and he picked off that fact that they were running away with games. He'd very often get the fourth goal of a 5-1 win or something like that. Do we bring him back? I mean, what's there's a saying, isn't there? If they're good enough, they're old enough. And, we brought Michael Owen into the team when he was 17. And I know we run the legs off him and essentially ruined his career because we overplayed him. Do we have to take that into consideration with Elliott? Do we have to think, actually, that this guy is looking like he's good enough?
I think if we're, and this is a massive if, I think if we're in the position where we all hope we are next season, and we're at the top of the table, and it's very similar to how the last two seasons have gone before this season, I think Harvey Elliott is best served actually staying with us. And I agree with you, Steve. I think playing bit parts, and his confidence will soar. He might well be that player who comes off the bench and he gets the third goal, or he gets a nice assist and he feels great about himself, and he's part of a team that's winning week in, week out. If we're having a season, like we're going to have this, like we've had this season, then he would be better off being out on loan and playing and starting and playing minimum of an hour every week for 25, 26 games a season at somewhere like a Brighton, for example. But that is a massive if, and you've got to have a crystal ball, and no one's going to know the answer to that. So, but you'd like to think with all the tools back in place that we think we're going to have, then we should be up there challenging for the title again next season and challenging for Champions League football. And he could well be the kind of player as well that he gets run-outs in Champions League games. Maybe we find ourselves in a position where a couple of those games are a little bit. We've qualified and there's dead rubbers, and he can have some good game time in those. And when I just look at him and I think he plays a lot from the right hand side as a left footer, like Salah does, but he's a very different player to Mo Salah. And I just wonder whether he'll evolve and he won't end up playing in that position. I wonder whether he might end up being someone who drifts and he plays a bit more in the hole as a number 10.
Hope so.
I think he reminds me more of Coutinho than Salah.
Yeah, and then if that happens, I mean, Klopp won't allow him to come in and coast. Ultimately, that's why he let Philippe Coutinho go, because Philippe Coutinho wasn't allowed to come in and coast. So I just think there's a few. There's just those big ifs hanging over it about what's the right thing to do with him, because I think he's gone and played in a big boys league this year, isn't he? Yeah, that's a tough league, the Championship, and he's played a lot of games. He's played a lot of minutes. He's 100%. He's contributed for Blackburn. He's scored goals. He's created goals. His numbers are good. In a team that's done okay, they started off really well, didn't they? And they faltered away a little bit, Blackburn, as the season's gone on. I'm torn with him for the same reasons. I just think that if we're flying, there's no better place for him to be than at Liverpool and getting some game time for us. But if we're not, it could be really difficult for him. It'd be even more difficult for him to get game time.
I think I'd like to see him play more centrally. I think he could do a lot more damage there. He's a very clever footballer in that regard, and when we're crying out for that crazy thing, there's a lot of pressure to put on a pair of young shoulders, to be fair. The other thing that's almost laughable is there's a rumour going around that Chelsea wants Salah. Have either of you seen that one? Yeah. It's not happening, that is it? It's not going. He's not going there, is it? If he goes abroad, surely.
I would have thought.
Surely we wouldn't let that happen.
No. It would be abroad for me if he's going to go anywhere. Certainly would be. So we'll look to close now, guys, and we'll be back on our sort of post-match show. I'm not going to ask you for a score. I'm just going to ask you for win, lose or draw. That'll do for me. So Ian, win, lose or draw?
We'll scrape a win.
Dave, same. Win, lose or draw?
Win.
That's 3 wins. So the worrying thing is we never get this right, guys. So let's hope we're not back on here a little bit later. Saying told you so, because we never get it right, do we? So listen, everyone, go and enjoy the game. Pop back on. Normally about half an hour after the final whistle. Jump on our YouTube channel and subscribe, please. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. It's a long road at the moment, and every little bit of help we can get will be really, really well appreciated. And we hope to get a few more shows out and increase the content. It's been a quiet couple of weeks with one thing and another, but we're back and we'll be doing a bit more content. So see you all after the game. And thanks to Ian and thanks to Dave for coming to the pre-match. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.